If you were given the chance to start your life over at age 10 right now, but still retain all of your current knowledge and memories, would you? Why or why not? Yes. Staying in shape, picking a better path in college, skipping some bad decisions, picking up on lost opportunities. There are a ton of minor mistakes that build up over time. I think so too. I mean, why would anyone not want to do that? But the problem with going back in time is that you can't change a few lines or torn away pages of a book. If you are on page 400 and go back to 100, you will be rewriting the whole thing, because every right decision you make will lead you to a new place and situation where you may again make new wrong decisions. Investing in Bitcoin? Literally buy some Bitcoin in 2009 with lunch money and you are a millionaire now. Edit, no need to buy a shit ton. Remember, you are young and don't have money. But even $500 worth of Bitcoin would have made you insanely rich right now. Edit, people pointed out the question may imply you become 10 in 2018, not whenever you were 10, well, rip my millionaire dreams, I guess. Add in some Apple shares just for shits and giggles too. Some Google shares too. If only when I had invested what spare cash I had back in the day when I got that Google beta email invite. Depending on how old you are, investing in Trojan condoms and Apple in the 80s, then Apple again in the late 90s, Amazon, Google, the hard part would be getting the seed money. But then, all that birthday money would probably be saved up because you really wouldn't want any toys if you were an adult in a child's body. Then again, you could snatch up some Star Wars figures and keep them in the package, or maybe comic books, but that would be a pain in the ass to keep up with for decades. But mainly I wouldn't have an ex-wife. No, I don't have the patience to grind those levels again. You only lose physical stats, money, and equipment though. And with better knowledge of the map and gameplay mechanics you'd be able to get those all back way faster. Bitcoin. It'd be unlikely you'd need the same amount of time, though. You'd know all the things you originally found out much later, be able to avoid pitfalls and wastes of time, and probably be able to initially collect resources far faster. Put a couple of years in, and with foreknowledge of how all kinds of things in the commercial world and society would pan out, you'd most likely be able to be in a better position by the age of 15 or 16 than you are now, unless, of course, you had a rags to riches story the first time around. Plus you'd have teenage health and most likely only the responsibilities you actually wanted to have. I'd definitely take the chance. Choose different hobbies and just have a different outcome on life today. Oh, and invest in some companies I know will get it big. Edit, 9 hours later, rip my inbox. Edit 2, I assumed it was time travel based because of if I were to wake up tomorrow as a 10-year-old, well, I'd have a little trouble getting around, driving places without getting pulled over, paying rent would be difficult, and as a 30-year-old man convincing my parents that I got brain surgery into some 10-year-old's body. I have lots of regrets, but I'm also extremely happy with my life now. If I could live things over again, make fewer mistakes, and still end up with the same wonderful woman and kids, then maybe. Giving it all up to try again? No thanks. I agree. If I were single? Yeah. But right now I'm with the man I think I'll marry. If I went back to 10 years old, I'm sure I would end up doing something wrong and never become friends with him through mutual friends. And what if I did, but then I came on too strong, since I know we end up in love, and it makes me seem weird and he doesn't end up developing a crush on me. No thanks. I couldn't agree more. She's told me before, what if we could start over, we would have had so much more time together. We could have started so much sooner. But I think that you can't change the past without changing yourself. There are mistakes I would rather avoid, but if avoiding those means I ended up avoiding our relationship, or if I came on too strong and ruined our shot before it happened, then I would have just traded some regret for my happiness with her now. That's a risk I can't take. I don't think I would have survived the hardest parts of my life without being able to love her through them. I can cringe and regret my younger life or hypothesize about what I could do to be rich and successful. But if I miss out on us because of it, I will have made the biggest mistake that I could possibly make. I'm rambling and letting some emotions out. I love her, I'm proposing Friday, and I'm so nervously excited it's making me antsy. All the best to you and him. Grab that happiness and hang on to it. Edit. Well, we are currently in the airport to leave to the destination where said proposal will happen. I want to say thank you for all your well wishes and calming my nerves. I probably shouldn't have done this post. My soon-to-be fiancé is wondering why my phone keeps beeping. Cross your fingers for me. Edit 2, she said yes. I will now take my throne as happiest man alive. Easy, if you have a spouse or kids, don't do it because your family will never be the same, or rather, has a super low chance to be the same. If you are alone with no higher attachments other than your parents/friends, then it's a go. The movie About Time handled this exact issue, and due to this, I could not take the deal. One of my favorite movies. Glad to see it mentioned here. That's the exact movie I thought of when I saw this question. There's a lot of things I wish I could do differently in my life, but once my kids were born, that was it for me. I wouldn't trade them for anything in this world. Sometimes I look at them and think, how did I end up with you? I don't believe in miracles, but it's the closest thing that feels like a miracle. I realize logically that I would likely feel this way about most variation of a child I could have had. But since I know these specific kids and love them so much, I couldn't go back and risk losing them.